going to be the recording for Traits in Reproduction 1.2, which is kind of the first lesson of our new unit. So this was either on Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on what class you were in. And so the first thing you're going to notice up here is the Traits in Reproduction notebook for the whole unit is up here for you. What I would recommend is that obviously you're going to open it up from here the first time, but the next times that you open it, so when you open it again later in the week, I would try to open it from your Google Drive, because sometimes Canvas will create duplicates and you'll have multiple copies, and that can cause some of your work to disappear, and we don't want that. So coming down here, my home page, you're going to see that we are doing, obviously I said lesson 1.2, and it has to do with introducing spider silk research. And so kind of our scenario is going to revolve around spiders. And so you can see my GIF, I thought it was funny. I am trying something new. And so what I did, obviously attendance is there. I created a Google Doc of all the things that I wanted you to submit for this lesson. So I went to Amplify and I pulled out things that I wanted to use and kind of simplified and put it into a Google Doc instead of having you submit on multiple tabs. My thought is that it's going to be easier for you guys just to do work in one running document, and also easier for you to use that document to submit in Canvas instead of submitting a bunch of stuff in Amplify. And it's also easier on me as far as late work. Canvas will notify me when that stuff comes in, and we know Amplify does not. And Amplify is a pain when it comes to anything coming in late after I've graded it. So when you open this assignment, this is what you're going to see. And we're going to start with the warm-up. And so the warm-up has these statements over here, and you need to write whether you agree or disagree over here. And you don't need to provide a lot of explanation on these, but you will have to explain your thoughts on the first one. So why did you agree or disagree? And remember, this is the first lesson, so it's okay if you don't really have a whole lot of background knowledge or you're not 100% sure, because we're just kind of starting, and it's going to obviously be covered as we go throughout this unit. And so let me scroll down here, and I'll come to this stuff here in a second, but I'm going to scroll down to my slides. And so obviously, like I said, we're going to kind of start our unit. We're going to learn about a few key terms and kind of intro our scenario. And you just saw the warm-up where you agree or disagree with the statements. And here is my intro. And so the idea is that we all have traits, and we all have different traits and features. And there's a difference between those things, and I'm going to explain that in a second. But sometimes you might find that you look exactly like your family, and sometimes you might find that you look extremely different. And there obviously is reasons that that happens, and we're going to learn why organisms can have different traits and how they can have similar ones. And so the unit question that we're going to cover is, why do traits vary, and why do they vary even between parents and offspring and among siblings? And so the video is going to intro the research that we're going to do and the scenario we're going to follow. And it is on spiders, and like I said, it's on spider silk. And so I'm not going to play this video because usually these screencastifys don't pick up sound very well, but you have these slides in here for you to watch. But the idea that she's going over is that, if I can talk, studying spider silk is important because spiders want to have flexible silk. The silk is what they spin their webs with. And so they create it and then they use it to spin their webs. And if their web is more flexible, then they have a better chance of catching insects and prey for them to eat. Because think about, if a flying insect is coming into a spider's web, if that web is not flexible, that insect is most likely just going to break right through it. When it's flexible, it will kind of hold back and be flexible and be able to kind of take the impact of the flying insect and then be able to catch it without breaking. And so that's kind of the idea. We're going to kind of study how those traits can be passed among spiders, and that's going to kind of help us understand how that works with humans as well. And so our role is we're going to be genetic researchers. We're going to study these bark spiders and kind of figure out how those traits are passed. The next couple slides have 3 vocab words on them that I wanted you to record. And if you remember from your notebook, let me show you mine, even though mine is the key and it's all filled in. You remember that each chapter has a home page with the vocab words in it. And so today's lesson has you filling in feature, trait, and variation. And so those 3 words are defined here. So feature is a characteristic that all members of a species have. So that would be like saying all cats have a tail, or all fish have fins, things like that. The next word is trait. And so the traits are the specific characteristics of an individual organism. So a trait would be like thinking of a cat's tail. Is the tail bushy and furry, or is it skinny and not as fluffy? I'm thinking of this guy over here who keeps interrupting. Now he doesn't want to be in the camera. He's got a very fluffy tail, which you can kind of see. And most cats don't have a tail that's this crazy. So that would be his trait. Isn't that right? Nope. And I would have my other cat be in the video as well, but he is sleeping. But that is a different trait. Traits would be like brown eyes, green eyes, straight hair, curly hair. So the feature is to have hair or to have eyes, and then the trait is the more detailed descriptor. So brown eyes, brown hair, curly hair. So that'll make sense as we keep going through. And then variation is any differences in those traits between the organisms. So we have a lot of variation as humans. We have different eye colors, different hair colors, different textures, different thicknesses of hair, all those different things. Freckles, no freckles, tall, short, all different kinds of variation. And you can see from this picture too, this kind of helps explain it a little bit better. So eye color is a feature, and then different eye colors are the traits. So brown, blue, green, and all of those. And so example, in regards to our spiders, the body color of the spider is the feature, and then the actual color is the trait. So body color is the feature, and then a brown body is a trait. And so one of the main features, which I've already told you, that we're focusing on is the silk flexibility. And so there are 3 different variations of that trait. So you can have high, medium, or low flexibility. And so we also had a little class discussion about different traits that we have and traits that we have that are different from people in our family. And I gave a few examples. One thing that I have that my family doesn't is I have a widow's peak, which is that little triangle that your hair can form. I also have a cleft chin, which not a lot of people in my family have, and that's that little dent in your chin. And so we got to talk and share out some things about that. And then our chapter question that we are focusing on is, why do traits for silk flexibility vary within these families of bark spiders? And so this image you're going to see is the next thing in your Google Doc. And so I just wanted you to look at this family tree, and you can see there is a male and a female. The male has low silk flexibility. The female has medium. And then they have 4 offspring with low, medium, low, and high. And so I wanted you to answer this question. So why do you think traits for silk flexibility vary? What do you see in this image? And you want to use this image to answer that question. Why do you think, example, they had 1 offspring with a high silk flexibility. How did that happen when both parents had low and medium? How was that possible? And so I want you to write your initial thoughts. And obviously, we're going to explore this topic a lot more, but I'm just curious in your initial ideas on that. Based on your answers, there are 3 claims to kind of answer that question. And so the 3 claims, we have claim 1, the offspring have mutations that affect their traits. Claim 2, the offspring's traits depend on which parent the offspring receive more traits from. And then claim 3, the offspring received different combinations of traits from their parents. And like I said, we're going to learn a lot more about this. And so we're kind of holding off on, kind of thinking of the right answer, because I'm not going to tell you just yet, because I think you will figure it out as we go on here. And so the next activity is going to be exploring the simulation. And in this set of slides, there is a video here to show you how to use the simulation. Like I said, I'm not going to play it because the audio isn't picked up very well on here. But you're going to see here, the simulation is hyperlinked. So when you click here, it will take you into the simulation. So when you open up the simulation, you're going to see that the features are listed. And so we have features up here, so like size. And then we have different sizes. There's going to be small, medium, and large. So those are traits. The feature being size, and then the trait would be medium-sized or large-sized. You can also see that it tells you if it is a male or female. And so you can take a male and you can pair it with a female, and you can choose to reproduce. And we can see we have sperm cells and egg cells. And then you can choose to fertilize and create some spider babies. And so they have 4 offspring, and then it will show you that I paired a small sized male with a large sized female, and I created 4 medium offspring. And so you can kind of play around and see how there's a lot of different features, and you can do a lot of different things with the simulation. Oops, going back to here. The last thing on this doc is I wanted you to kind of explore your traits of your family members. So I wanted you to pick 2 family members, and it can be mom, dad, grandpa, grandma, cousin, aunt, uncle, whoever you are related to. And I wanted you to list 5 traits that they have. And there are so many. Eye color, like I said, cleft chin, which is this little indent. You can have attached earlobes or unattached earlobes, brown hair, blonde hair, curly hair, thick hair, straight hair. You could have bushy eyebrows, freckles. You could be able to twist your tongue. There's a lot of family traits. And I think for the slides, that was really all I went through on the slides. Yep. But there is an exit ticket. So once you finish the assignment, like I showed you here, that is the end of it. So you will submit it, and then there is the exit ticket. And then, like I said, that notebook, here is the page for the notebook. So I'm going to make sure I do this every time, where I just kind of put a screenshot of the page and what you need to have written. Remember, these definitions were in our slides below here, so you can go back and fill those in if you did not get them. But that is it for today.